Hello my precious cinnamon rolls, my name is Phoephoe and I'm here back again playing Loren, the Amazon princess. And we fought Fost in the last episode, so let's see what happens next. Fost shrank down to his original size, falling backwards against the portal to the realms of death. Polymaria says that was for my daughter. Amakiki says victory! The wall sputtered and reacted to Fost's body, but did not fall through. He was not dead. Loren says the gateway hasn't opened for him. Polymaria took in a deep breath. It's time. Makiki was disquieted, looking over at Eleanor. Merv says, I'm not sure what you mean. Footsteps from behind startled them. Eleanor says, he's here. Loren says, Zeal! The Death Knight walked coolly towards them. You cleared my way and you have broken him. It is my time now. Aaron says, what will you do? We were told that he could not be sent back to death without a great sacrifice. Zeal says, I am made of this realm, it bends to me. Zeal leaned down and placed his hand on Fost's helmet. Fost's body began to glow. Everyone stepped back. The light pulsed up Zeal's arm and away from Fost, surrounding him instead. The light then melted into him. Loren says, What was that? Zeal clenched his jaw and held his head in pain for a moment. The essence of the realm. I took it from him, and therefore his power. Zeal cavalierly, I'm not sure that's the word, picked up Fost's armour. You have strayed for too long. Then Zeal tossed the arm away from him and into the portal. All the pieces of Force disappeared without any contest. They all stared at the wall for any sort of reaction, but there was none. Is he really gone? Eleanor asks. Zeal says, he will rise no longer. Polymaria says, I cannot believe we have trusted to one Death Knight to banish another. Salza says, that looked almost too easy. Loren says, I'm one of you. What will you do now? The Zeal looked around the cavern absent-mindedly. Loren says, will you manage Aravon as well? The Death Knight finally looked at them again. You do not belong here. It's time you return to your realm. Eldor says, wait! But Zeal did not hesitate in rendering them all unconscious. I think if we hadn't made that pact with Zeal, one of us would have had to die to kill Fost, so that was probably good, but was it good if in the long term or not? The side of the Underrealm faded from their view. Eleanor could feel her limbs again, and she could see, too. The dreamlike haze had completely left her. She picked herself off the ground. Ash fell from her. The volcano that once housed Fost's lair had been destroyed. All around her comrades rose from the rubble and helped each other to stand. Amakiki was lifting rubble, searching for Eleanor. He stopped when he saw Eleanor rise up in the light of the sun. Slowly they walked together until they were standing very close. Eleanor slid her hands against Amakiki's arm and chest, spurring him to touch her back. They were in disbelief that they were both alive after everything. Amakiki was happy, and that was such a strange emotion to him. He abruptly pressed Eleanor tightly to him. Loren and Karen were standing by the edge of the new cliffside, looking down below. The armies below were celebrating a great victory and tending to the wounded. They had truly won the day. Eleanor took several very sore steps to stand by her majesties. They received her with a smile that said a million words. Loren started laughing first, then Eleanor and Karen followed them both. Their limbs ached, their wounds were deep, but they laughed until tears formed in their eyes. God, that's a terrifying face, Loren. That's absolutely terrifying. Please shut your mouth. It's scary. It was over. It was finally over, and no one had to say goodbye. They looked over at the horizon together. Rescue teams began to scale the volcano's cliff. The sun was the same as the one they had seen them that morning. The morning they marched from Hammerhands, but at that moment it looked brand new. Loren was crowned Queen of the Amazons. She was welcomed warmly by her people. Celebrations were held for months after the crowning, toasting to Loren and Karen's great triumphs. Loren made sure to use the knowledge that the Great Mothers had bestowed upon her in their trial. Though her rule would be different from tradition, it would be for the better. Loren's first act as queen was to release Eleanor from service, making her a free elf. She gave her a sock. The transition was not as great as Eleanor was expecting, as she'd been given much more freedom than she realised, but the feel of first stepping out the Citadel's gates would be a memory she would long remember. The most important decree of Loren's rule was the immediate release of all slaves from the service of the Citadel. All servants were given their freedom, though many stayed to earn a living and rise in the ranks that they were more than qualified for. Not everyone was pleased with this new direction of the Amazons, and some rebelled against Loren. However, they learned that she was another weak queen. Loren handled all of her challenges with ease, earning her their newfound respect. Between Eleanor, Loren and her defenders, the discrimination against men slowly faded away as they proved to be a beneficial part of their society. The concept of a male Amazon became more of a reality as their civilization grew. Karen became a representative of the Amazons to the Empire and the Elves. She helped change the world's view of the Amazons, just as Loren was changing things within the Citadel. She found ways to build trust with the lizard people in the swamps and helped show Aravon that they are an intelligent and unique race worth respect. The Dark Elves were reintroduced to the forest thanks to Mirth. All settlements in the desert were invited to Grand Tree. Some stayed behind, not wanting to abandon their 1,000-year-old heritage. Most, however, wanted to return to the forest. It was a difficult assimilation for both sides, but a little time, and reminders of the Great War of Everburn, reduced their petty differences to nothing of consequence. Mirth became a renowned elder druid, calming radical isolationists and showing the beauty of opening the forest up to the world. Though some elves still insisted that they didn't want to be influenced by any outside culture, most elves thought that they could keep their culture while embracing others. The Empire made efforts to repair the rift between the human and elven nations after pressure on the Council from Polymantia, who was reinstated as Archwizard by popular demand. There was great support from both populations, easing the passing of a decree that formally made the two nations allies. Polymantia himself was finally able to pursue his alchemy in ways that could help the whole world, and not just himself. He took on as many apprentices as he could handle and helped spread his knowledge of the science across Aravon. Many lives would be saved from his discoveries. Dora returned to her grimy grimoire and took full advantage of her new celebrity. She quickly became one of the most accomplished relic hunters, learning to use her skills for good rather than greed. She should get her own spin-off game where we raid tombs, because that would be awesome. Rammus returned home to Hammerlands and took over his brother's position as head of the family. He even dabbled in some politics, though his arguments were mostly him insulting his opponents. Ray's prejudice against the Dark Elf disappeared over time. He even became an advocate for their integration back into the forest. He put his assassin days behind him and he tried to put his skills to better use. Draco was requested to become a professor at the Horus Magical Academy by none other than Professor Hal himself. Draco accepted the job and became a favourite teacher, but he also helped the school become a more safe and hospitable place for its students. Oh dear. Salza returned to Mount Kronos a better monk. He imparted everything he learned to his disciples. With the undead lowering in numbers, Salza was pleased to let more disciples travel freely away from the mountains to do good in society, as he had done as he had done so much after leaving himself. Shambara was finally allowed to move back to her home in the swamps where she lived in solitude as she really preferred. Witch hunters would never cease to exist, but Shambara herself had earned a good enough name to live in relative safety for the rest of her life. Eleanor was invited to join the tribe in Grand Tree, allowing her to finally become an elf of the forest. All this heroism inspired the Amazons and others to think more highly of elves, which generation the gap between the factions closed tighter and tighter. The war was over, but Eleanor was not sated. She lusted for battle and competition, and when she saw Makiki in Grimoire's arena, she realised what she truly missed the most was their interaction. And Makiki had become something as an instructor, teaching other gladiators how to fight, but she wanted so much to feel the exhilaration of crossing swords with him again, and more. Makiki had wanted the same, but they both were reserved in their emotion to be as open about it as other couples. So instead he focused on training her to be as good a gladiator as he once was, giving her everything he could. She quickly became his best student and a formidable opponent worthy of the greatest challenges. As professional as they seemed in public, their private lessons often never involved combat training at all. When they were together, Amakiki never longed for his clan, and Amakiki never lamented for her tribe, and that was their gift to each other. And Eleanor, not Amakiki! Oh my god, I can't read today. The candle flickers its last breath of life, sniffing out the light in the room as it turns to liquid wax. The monk continues to hold her quill above the page, now too dark to write more. She leans back into her chair, satisfied with the story she had managed to write thus far. Even though there's more to tell, the story of Loren, Princess of the Amazons, had reached its end. The monk's withered hand reached up to her cloak and pulled down the hood around her white locks of hair. She approaches the monstrous window. The tale of Loren had been written, and her people would read from these scrolls, wondering how glorious a queen her great mothers must have welcomed. She feels the breed on her face, and an ancient ache in her heart. The last words she'd written had struck her core. But she smells herself. Not only Loren's story was told that night. Oh, it says for you. Eleanor leaves the windows and slips into her bed, prepared for the relief of a deep, deep sleep. So yeah, because of the choices we in chose, that meant that Eleanor was the one telling the story all along. It changes. It's deliberately gender neutral at the beginning because your character might not actually survive the game. So there's a lot that changes around with this game. But anyway, this is the end of finally of Loren the Amazon Princess and all these people that went into making this amazing game. I do love this game a lot. It's not without flaws, but you know, it's more than makes up for it for how much I love it. And I haven't decided what's going to be the next Let's Play game in this slot, so if there's an RPG or a visual novel or dating sim, that kind of game that you would like to see me do a Let's Play of, this will be the time to let me know. The only problem is I'm a bit short for money. I find it a bit of a financial kind of rut at the moment, and I can't afford to buy anything new, so as long as it's a game I've already got, it shouldn't be an issue. These are the voice acting credits. And the fact that Karen's played by someone called Karen is kind of amusing to me. So, that's the credits. Oh, not quite done yet. The Everburn Mountains were the quietest they'd ever been, but the smoke still billowed from the black volcano. Inside the remnants of Fost lair, the forgotten ashes of his armour looked like nothing more than dust. The ashes were playfully kicked by a lone succubus who then stood dominant on the vanquished demon lord. Oh, we never killed her, did we? Jill was free of control of his bothersome rules. She had helped him return him to power, but she was never valued. Now Everburn was hers. Question mark says, I finally found you. His voice was tender, her thoughts dissolved. Zeal stepped forward into the broken room and revealed himself to Jill. Tears welled up in his eyes at the sight. Jill said, Zeal! Oh, Zeal! She ran up to him and they embraced. Zeal says, I told you I would find you. Jill laughed and hugged him closer. I knew it was you, I could feel you when it happened. But I couldn't believe it because... Zeal says, this realm is ours now. It will make them understand. You and your kind will finally be at peace. She caressed his face. And we will be together. Zeal closed his eyes and pressed her back into him. They were silent for days. Whoop! Got an achievement. Now, is that really... Oh, we're not cheat mode. No, I don't want to know about cheat mode, thank you. But that is the end. So, thanks for you all for watching, and we'll see what I decide to play next time on Friday. Oh, end of episode. Hi, this is Phoephoe. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and if you really liked it, please subscribe.